From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Our top story this evening, not guilty pleas today for the Fairbanks man accused of murdering his wife.
39-year-old John Claude McDonald was indicted by a grand jury August 1st on charges of murder in the first degree and murder in the second degree. Now, the charges stem from what was originally reported as a suicide involving his wife, Crystal McDonald. According to a press release, the shooting occurred March 20th on Pedro Street. Police arrived to find the woman deceased from a gunshot wound. Little information regarding the charges have been made available. However, a copy of the grand jury indictment states McDonald compelled or induced his wife to commit suicide through duress or deception. A trial for his case is set for October.
After allegedly stealing 45 iPads from Walmart, Cody Michael Stockton has pleaded not guilty to numerous charges. The 24-year-old North Pole man with a criminal history of burglary and assault stands accused of taking the iPads after store hours on July 20th. Police say he is also charged with 4 counts of second-degree drugs misconduct after finding heroin, methamphetamine, and other drugs on Stockton with what they believe to be intent to distribute. Following the alleged theft, authorities found an online ad for iPads posted on Craigslist. They later linked those iPads to the ones reported stolen and also retrieved store surveillance footage of the incident. A search of Stockton's home turned up other stolen iPads as well. A trial for his case is set for October.
A Fairbanks man with a long history of assault and violence was indicted by a grand jury on new charges of assault. 51-year-old Ivan Bouldin pleaded not guilty today to charges of assault in the second degree as well as assault in the third degree. Now, court documents state Bouldin repeatedly beat his wife while walking down the street, punching and biting her in the face and later choking her until she lost consciousness. Bouldin was taken into custody on a no bail status due to the seriousness of the charges as well as his criminal history. Trial for his case was set for October.
Tribal, state, and federal officials converged at the Westmark for the annual Tribal Court Development Conference. They want to expand the role of tribal courts to deal with rampant violence and the lack of safety faced in many Alaskan villages. A commissioner from the Indian Law and Order Commission, Carol Goldberg, says the state of Alaska should encourage more cooperation with tribal courts. She says the state of Alaska has not fully respected the authority of tribal courts and elder councils. Conversely, she says village residents may not respect the jurisdiction of the state.
In tribal communities, there's a crisis of legitimacy because state and federal justice systems were imposed on tribes without their consent. And without legitimacy, you are less likely to have people reporting crime to authorities, you're less likely to have witnesses cooperating with authorities, and you're less likely to have people actually adhere to the law.
Mark through Thursday.
All right, and now Mike Schultz joins us live from the fair. It looks like he's got somebody ready to interview, so.
Okay, Mike, take it away.
Are we on? I guess we're on. Hey, listen, we're once again live at the Tanana Valley State Fair, and Mike Schultz with you, and I'm here with Lynn Davis, who's in charge of security. It's always nice to know what's going on as far as security goes. Now, Lynn, we were just talking about specific duties here. What are the specific duties for all the security people here?
Basically, general safety and guest services. We provide information and are in charge of just the general safety of the fairgrounds in general.
And as far as we were talking before about the state troopers also work hand in hand with you, and why don't you give us the explanation of just about how they get involved?
Basically we have a direct line into their dispatch center, so we have the ability to contact them directly if we need their assistance. We also have troopers that are here on grounds at different times during the day to also assist us as well.
And you say you have like 50 folks working for you, right?
The full complement is 50 plus, yes.
And they're not just on the grounds, but they're also out in the parking lots.
Yeah, correct. We cover the parking lots, all the gate entries, and we also have folks inside the fairgrounds also that maintain safety.
Now I got to tell you, I've been coming to the fair every year for last umpteen years, and I have noticed that over the last at least 5 or 6 years, it's been very, very calm, and I haven't seen any problems or any kind of people being accosted or anything like that. So everything's working out pretty good.
Yeah, we work really hard on trying to prevent those types of issues, and we implement policies and things of that nature at the gates that allow us to better control that situation.
You're doing a great job, and thanks for being with us, Lynn. And we'll be back with you later on with a look at the weather. Now back to you, Daryl and Stephanie.
All right, well, I mean, the joys of live TV, huh?
Are we back?
I think we are. Are we on?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right. When we come back, a ribbon cutting ceremony was held today, and we'll tell you the occasion. We'll
also have your weekly health report. Those stories are next when the Fairbanks Evening News continues. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the Fairbanks Evening News. The Alaska Railroad Corporation just finished Alaska's longest rail bridge going across the Tanana River in Salcha. Today, several lawmakers and members of the public came to see the bridge themselves. Reporter Ryan Grimes has the scoop on what Alaska could gain from the structure.
The Tanana River crossing, with 23 million pounds worth of steel and concrete at its core and length up to 3,300 feet, this is known as the longest bridge in the state of Alaska.
The Alaska Railroad Corporation says the bridge cost under $188 million to construct. It was funded by the Department of Defense and the state. For now, the bridge is most useful to the military, as it could provide better access to the J Park training grounds for soldiers.
J Park is one of the premier training facilities. I call it facility because it's a combination of ground, air, maritime, with great restricted airspace. And we're excited about the opportunity to continue to collaborate to further develop the other side.
Alaska Railroad CEO Bill O'Leary says the bridge is only the first phase in a statewide railroad project.
Tanana Crossing is just really a triumph of a project. It's been over 10 years in the making. It really started out with the vision of a number of different people to sort of the first leg, first phase of a project to extend the railway from its current terminus outside of Eielson Air Force Base to down to eventually Fort Greely, Delta Junction, Fort Greely area, and then eventually on to Canada.
State legislators from all sides participated in a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the structure. They say they regard the new bridge as a great opportunity for both military and community interests in Alaska.
It's a great project for Alaska. It puts on the map, as several have said here, another opportunity for us to expand our military opportunities for Alaska and this nation.
It's a bridge to the future for our military and expanding their training opportunities. It's that first step. This is phase one, and again, a rail extension that will allow us to push to Canada and beyond.
So we're working with the military to assure that access is good during hunting season, but we're also working to get that Pioneer Road pushed through the federal lands to state lands so that Alaskans can access game on those state lands as well as recreational opportunities. Alaskans can think big and we can build big, and when we do that together, we open up opportunities for us for decades to come.
I'm very pleased with this bridge. I finally got a bridge built to somewhere.
This is Ryan Grimes reporting from Salcha.
The Alaska Native Health Tribal Consortium has released statistics on Native injury-related hospitalizations and deaths, and some of the numbers have officials worried. Monty Bowen has details now in this week's health report.
While unintentional injury deaths in general among the Native population are down in recent years, the number caused by drug and alcohol poisoning has increased by almost 400%. Illicit and prescription drugs account for over half of those. Native leaders are trying to address the problem of substance abuse in their community.
If you think about it, it's only a decade or two, decade and a half years old. So we're only working on the first generation.
The biggest problem the Native community is facing is the lack of help for those who want it.
So you can't get somebody well if they're ready, and a lot of people are ready. They need to get into detox right now. And if there is nowhere to go, that you'll lose that person.
Native leaders are trying to address the problem of substance abuse in their community. It's proven difficult to isolate the root cause.
And I will say this is not a cultural norm, and for the Alaska Native community, it is something that is happening, issues of disparity that is happening that we're addressing. And the good news is Alaska Native people rose up and said, it is time to end.
The study compared deaths between 1992 and 95 with those that occurred between 2008 and 11. It also showed Natives between the ages of 40 and 49 accounted for the highest unintentional poisoning death rate of any group. This is Monty Bowen reporting.
The Health Report is brought to you by the Ear, Nose, and Throat Clinic, located in the Medical Dental Arts Building. Call 456-7768.
All right, well, coming up in sports tonight, the Gold Panthers battled it out with the Colts in the NBC World Series in Wichita, Kansas.
That's right, and the new Nanox gym is getting some new perks. We'll take you inside.
All right, coming up in sports right after this, so stay tuned.